Are you looking for amazing free boondocking locations?
Well, in this video, we're going to share with you the tools and the steps we use to find amazing, serene, and peaceful locations just like this.
Hey, I'm Kim and this is Norm, and we are part-time RVers and full-time adventurers.
And in 2020, it was a record year for RV sales, and 2021 looks like it's going to beat that record. And a lot of those new RV sales are going to new RVers. And that just is putting more and more pressure on campgrounds and RV parks and places to stay.
You know, you have to think ahead and use all of these tools and steps in order to find that perfect destination for you to have peaceful serenity in your camping experience.
Right, so we're going to share with you how we find amazing boondocking spots, or maybe you want to call it dispersed camping. Sometimes those words are interchangeable. Some people have their own definitions, but basically to us, it means camping out in nature on public land and away from the normal amenities, and hopefully away from people.
More off-grid.
We're going to turn to the computers and we're going to show you the steps that we use, the tools we use, the websites we use, so you can take the information that we share and find your own amazing boondocking locations. The first tool that we use in our planning is RV Trip Wizard, and we use that for our entire trip plan. It plots the route, it gives us directions, and we can record every place that we want to stay along the way. But it does have some limitations as far as boondocking and dispersed camping, but it's a great place to start. So in this example, we're going to start with our adventure beginning in the Bakersfield, California area, and we're going to be traveling to Las Vegas. We want to do boondocking in Las Vegas area, so we're going to zoom out until we get a big enough view here where we can see Las Vegas. We're going to scroll over. And now that we have Las Vegas in sight, we're going to scroll in a little bit, and it's going to start showing us camping options. And we're going to go out of town a little bit. We happen to know that in the Lake Mead National Recreation Area that there is some boondocking options available. So we're going to explore those and see what we might come up with. This first one that we're looking at, Government Wash Campground, that's a possibility. So let's take a look at that and see what people have said about that. We're going to look on the reviews. This camp is one of 5 dispersed campgrounds in the Lake Mead National Recreation Area. Perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. And so right off the bat, we've discovered a dispersed camping area that might be of interest to us. It's fairly close to Henderson, which is just outside of Las Vegas. So having learned this really quickly, it's going to take us into the second tool that we always use, and that is Campendium. So we're going to bring up Campendium next, and we're going to zoom in on that same general area. And we're going to look and see, over here we already see Government Wash Dispersed Camping. That's the same one we were looking at on RV Trip Wizard. And so we're going to select that and see what else it has to say. It gives us some pictures that we can get an idea of what the area looks like. It tells us what the cost is. It's free. And we can check out the cell service, because cell service is important to us, and we know a lot of you it's important as well if you have to work. Here we have 4 bars of Verizon 4G. We have 4 bars of AT&T 4G. And same with T-Mobile. So that's awesome. Those are all very recent reports, March 15th of 2021, just last week. And then we can look at the reviews. This one is a 4-star review, 1 night waiting for a spot in the Valley of Fire. Lots of wide open spaces to choose from. That tells us that a fairly large size rig can fit in here. They have dumpsters. That's awesome. We had a caravan of off-road trucks come within 30 feet of our rig about 10 o'clock at night, but no big deal. Here's another one, 5-star review. Our first time out here, we really enjoyed it. Made it out here in our 37-foot rig. Now that's important because our rig is 32 feet, and if someone can get out here in 37 feet, then we know we can get here. Access 5 stars, location 5 stars, cleanliness 4, site quality 4, noise they claim 2. You take those with a grain of salt because every week is going to be a little bit different depending on who's there. That is of a lot of interest to us. In fact, I think I've learned enough already just from this information to say we might try and stay there. It really provides everything we're looking for. It's got the size, it has lots of sites, it has internet access, and it's free. So just like that, we've already found an amazing boondocking option, and took us what, maybe 5 minutes, using just 2 tools that we use regularly. Now that we've found a possible site to boondock at, the next thing we like to do is bring up Google Maps, and we look at the same location. I'm going to scroll over here to the general area and zoom in. And what we're wanting to do is we want to look at the map first to find the general location, and then we want to switch over to satellite. So down in the bottom left corner there's a button that says satellite, and it'll change the view to the satellite view. And we're going to look at that and see exactly what we're getting ourselves into on this location that we're going to be camping in. So we're going to find the same road that we were at, Government Wash, and here it is. And we're going to zoom in even more. We see the road coming down, and it comes down to a bathroom, and then it comes off to the side. There's a boat launch in that general area, and then off to the side there's a Government Wash Road, and it's a gravel road, and we can see an RV camping there and another one here. There's some over on this side. So we're going to zoom in even further, and we're going to see what's available. Now here's a good site here, all on its own. Another good site there. These are fairly good size RVs, it looks like. Maybe even some Class A's. There's lots of others over on this. And we're just going to keep on going down the road over here on the left hand side, the big area with a large, looks like a fifth wheel. You can zoom in even further. And so what we're really trying to do is get a feel for, can we make it down that road in our rig, and what other type of rigs are down in that area. Are they similar to ours? Are there a lot of people? Are there just a few people? Are there lots of sites? And in this area, it looks like there are a lot of options for boondocking. And it also looks like it maybe is fairly popular, but you might expect that. This location is probably 25 minutes outside of Henderson, Nevada, which is just south of Las Vegas. So it's really close, probably within a half hour's drive you could be into the Strip from here. So you can see it's going to be a really popular spot, but hey, it's free camping. It's a great option. It's right on Lake Mead, and so that's the next tool that we use, and we highly recommend is using your Google Maps to zoom in and see the area that you're going into. Does it have spots that are big enough for your rig? Does it have a sun if you're looking for solar? Is there shade if you want that? You can get a great idea of what's available just by zooming in on that location. So that's our next tip for you, Google Maps.
All right, so another tool that we used is called iOverlander. And oftentimes when Norm and I are looking for a site to use or looking for a campground area, a boondocking area, we'll use multiple sites at the same time. So he'll be on his computer looking at RV Trip Wizard or looking at Campendium, and I'll start searching on other ones because they're not always the same. So we wanted to go to the McCall, Idaho area. So let's look at that area. We'll type in McCall, Idaho on iOverlander. And let's see what we find. Looks like there's, oh, not a whole lot of options, but a few. Davis Beach parking. I don't think we want to be in a parking, not a parking lot. So let's look at this. Near Yahoo Corral, wild camping. That's another term that's used for dispersed camping or boondocking, is wild camping. Let's look at that one. Let's see. Just off Warren Road, 10 minutes from McCall. That sounds good. Cannot verify if wild camping is permitted at this location, so I'm not sure. Let's look at another one. We will probably set that one aside and maybe have it as an option. Little Payette Creek dispersed camping. That sounds good. And several dispersed USFS land campsites all along the road. I like that there's several. So let's see if there's any other details that we can find. Several dispersed campsites, 2 to 3 one-vehicle spaces near the water, some sites along the lake, some back into the trees. I like this one. On this site, does it show whether we have, 3 to 4 bars of AT&T and Verizon. This is sounding really good. We're AT&T right now. Lots of mosquitoes. Bring your mosquito netting and lots of DEET, I guess, or some other kind if you don't like DEET. But look at this picture. It looks awesome. I don't like this. There was lots of trash around, but you know, we have not come across that very often with lots of trash around. But if we do come across that, we just pick it up. You know, we leave it better than we found it. So I would definitely put this one on one of our as the top. Last verified was 7 months ago, so that's a bit ago, but it does give GPS information, does give altitude. So even from here, once we found this site, again, we would go to Google Maps and look at it to see what Google Maps has to show us. So it looks kind of like a nice place. It looks like if you pulled off into that area right there where that camper is, there would be plenty of sun for our solar, or you could back in and get a little bit more shade. It's right on this little pond. It looks like people use it, so you probably would want to get there on a Sunday or a Monday. It's a very popular area. Pretty good road coming off. You might be able to find places further back in the road if you had a smaller rig, but for us, we would probably, if it was available, like that main site right there. You could go further down on the road and see if there's any other campsites along the road. It just looks like a beautiful area. Ooh, there's one right there. Let's see what that has to offer. Nope. You know, so this is what you have to do. It takes some time and effort to look around. It looks like there's a little spot right there. That looks like it could be a good spot to camp. That looks awesome. So, the trick on this is patience and being a bit of a detective. You just have to be a bit of a detective to look at all of these different sites. Again, like Norm stated, we start with RV Trip Wizard, planning our trip. We go to Campendium to see what they might have there. We go to iOverlander, but Google Maps is huge in being able to find and look at what the area really looks like. Seeing if your trailer can get in and out, see if the roads are too curvy, see what the altitude on there. I think Google Maps is one of our number one places to look.
The next tool that we love to use is a website called FreeCampSites.net. And it's one that we have found a lot of boondocking, free, dispersed camping locations. So let's play around with this one a little bit. One place that we'd like to go back to is Colorado Springs. So let's kind of click on the map here and see what we can maybe find in Colorado Springs area. We're zooming in and it's bringing up the green campsite tents, and we can hover over, click on them, and it'll give us some information. This one is 7 Lakes Road, 3.5 stars. That gives us a little bit of information on it. Let's check another one. Skagway Reservoir, 2020 camping might not be allowed anymore. So I will call ahead, it says. So let's skip that one. Let's zoom in just a little bit more. And maybe down here in this Beaver Creek Wilderness area. Let's see what some of these are. Oh, here we go. Phantom Canyon number 9. Free dispersed camping along Phantom Canyon Road in the BLM. That might be of interest. So we can look at this in a little bit more detail. Click on it, it brings it up. This is free camping. The road is dirt. Maximum RV length is 25 feet. You may stay 14 days, which is awesome. But this is going to be a little bit too small for us. We have a 32-foot fifth wheel, but some of these pictures look beautiful. I would love to stay here. Narrow mountain road. Gives you information on the bridge. So that is an option for people that have smaller rigs. You can see the reviews and read what they might have to tell you, but for us, that's just not going to work. So numerous places to stop in the canyon. This is my favorite. Plenty of room for more than one vehicle and a few tents. Let's see what else that might say. 1 to 5 campsites in this particular area. I'm not seeing anything that says about the size of a rig. The green ones are, I believe, free camping. The red ones are paid campgrounds. Let's see what it says. We're striking out so far on as far as finding a site that's big enough for our fifth wheel. Again, this one is RV length at 25 feet, 14 days stay. That's awesome. And you can always double check the information on another site. Don't just trust what somebody has said. It might be not totally accurate. So maybe you take this information from 7 Lakes Road and you go and look at the same information on Campendium and see what they might have to say. Stayed here in a 13-foot pop-up trailer. That's awesome. 24. We stayed in a travel trailer, 24 foot, but 47 feet in total with the truck. Not quite big enough for us, but it might be. It doesn't say it wouldn't. This just says 24 foot was what they happen to have. So it takes a little bit more investigating, and maybe we go from here onto Google Maps. It has the GPS information up here. We can take that and go to Google Maps, and then we're going to enter the GPS coordinates. And boy, that is beautiful. Let's bring up the satellite view. Now that is a large area. That would be accessible on a larger rig, at least this camping area. Whether the road could take a larger rig or not, we'll have to look a little bit further and see, but it kind of seems like it might be. I think that's might be a very good option. We'll zoom out just a little bit further and see what else might be here. Here's some more up the road a little further. A big turnout. I think this is a definite option for a larger rig. I'm not seeing any RVs in the satellite imagery, but that doesn't mean they don't go there. This is obviously a campsite. I see a fire ring in here. I see another fire ring up here. So people camp here. It just happens to be that when this picture satellite image was taken, nobody was camping. So there's another option. We found this one using the FreeCampSite.net website. It's another great tool that we use, and we have found many locations using this application. Actually, this website, FreeCampSite.net. A sister website along with this is called FreeDumpSites.net. And that is a great tool to use when you need to find water or a dump site. RV dump sites. So it's called RVDumpSites.net. You want to look at that website, and let's zoom in again on Colorado. So there's Colorado Springs. I want to zoom in on Colorado Springs again because that's where we were looking. And okay, so the red dump sites, those are paid sites. This one is $15, but free with fuel purchase. So that's at a Shell station. That's a great option. We need fuel, and when we stop at a gas station that has a dump site, we typically buy fuel anyway. Here's another one, easy pull-through spot, friendly staff, Pikes Peak Travel Land. It doesn't say whether that what that one costs. I'm not seeing any free ones right now, but you know, this one at the Shell station, free with fuel purchase, that works. So there you go. That's a great option. You can probably get water there as well. So we thought the site was called FreeDumpSites.net. It's RVDumpSites.net. Add that one to your tool chest, and you'll be really happy when you're looking for a dump site. So there you go, RVDumpSites.net, another tool.
We would be remiss if we didn't share with you this website that is fairly new. It's called the Dyrt, and honestly, we have not used it before, but we just today downloaded the Pro version, and we have, I think, a 90-day free trial, and we're working with them hopefully to provide that kind of free trial for all of our viewers. But I'm kind of liking it. It seems to be very comprehensive. It's got campgrounds, trip planner, different forums. The Pro version, let's click on that, has some cool options. You can plan your trip with their trip planner, and you can find free dispersed camping with map layers. We've kind of fooled around with the map layers. It gives different layers of maps as far as having Forest Service maps and different things on there. It has what looks like Google Maps, but maybe not quite all as robust as Google Maps.
So these are the tools we use, and they're not that difficult. You guys can use them too. So use them, enjoy them, and find some amazing boondocking locations.
And if you want to see some of the boondocking locations we've been to before, look at this video right over here, and you'll see amazing boondocking location that we have actually stayed at.